Do you know that the periodic table consists of 118 chemical elements?
Fun fact, the elements that found in Earth and Mars are exactly the same.
Good morning everyone. I'm gonna start this video with a nice element from the periodic table, helium. Helium is a chemical element with a symbol He and atomic number of 2. It's a colorless, odorless, tasteless, non-toxic, inert, monatomic gas and the first in the noble gas group in the periodic table. Here, a first fun fact about helium. Its boiling and melting point are the lowest among all the elements from the periodic table. Chris, when was helium discovered? Helium was discovered on August 18, October 20, 1816. Pierre Janssen and Joseph Norman Lockyer discoverers of helium, despite being the second most abundant element in the observable universe. Helium is relatively rare on Earth, the product of the radioactive decay of elements like uranium. And Chris, what does this element helium use for? Helium gas is used to inflate blimps, research balloons, and balloons for celebration. It is used as an inner shield for arc welding, pressuring liquid fuel rocket fuel tanks, and in supersonic wind tunnels. I have here a famous question asked by millions of people. Can you touch helium? My answer for that is yes. As you can see, you can only touch helium by inhaling it, allowing it to be breath. It's only for a moment before it escapes and dissipates. Helium reminds us to not assume a stability of matter. Now, I'll give you some small fun facts about the element helium. First fun fact, helium makes about 24% of the mass of the universe. It is the second most abundant element. Second fun fact, the word helium comes from the Greek helios, which means sun. And my last fun fact is, helium atoms are so light that they are able to...
Pleasant day! I am Zharie Cabusas. The next element in the periodic table that I personally choose is the symbol K. Now what is potassium K? Potassium is the chemical element with the symbol K from the Latin kalium and atomic number 19. Physical description of potassium. Potassium metal is soft and white with a silvery luster, has a low melting point, and is a good conductor of heat and electricity. Potassium imparts a lavender color of a flame and its vapor is green. It is the seventh most abundant element in Earth's crust, consisting 2.6% of its mass. Potassium melting point is 63.5 degrees Celsius, while boiling point is 759 degrees Celsius. Discovery and naming of potassium. Potassium is the only element named after a cooking utensil. It was named in 1807 by Humphrey Davy after the compound which he isolated the metal potash or the potassium hydroxide. Now, what is the uses of potassium in industry and other fields? Potassium K is an essential nutrient for plant growth. It's classified as a micronutrient because plants take up large quantities of K during their life cycle. Sources of potassium. Minnesota soils can supply some K for crop production, but when the supply from the soil isn't adequate, a fertilizer program must supply the K. Chords related to potassium. Potassium iodide is a metal halide composed of potassium and iodide with thyroid protecting and expectorant properties. Fun fact, potassium vigorously reacts with water to form hydrogen gas.
And now I will discuss about calcium. Calcium is a chemical element with symbol Ca and atomic number 20. It is classified as an alkaline earth metal. Calcium is a silvery white soft metal that tarnishes rapidly in air and reacts with water. Calcium metal is used as reducing agent in preparing other metals such as thorium and uranium. It is also used in alloying agent for aluminum, beryllium, copper, lead, and magnesium alloys. The chemical properties of calcium includes its melting point, which is 839 degrees Celsius, while its boiling point is 1484 degrees Celsius with a valence of 2. It was first isolated in 1808 in England, where Sir Humphrey Davy electrolyzed a mixture of lime and mercuric oxide. Today, we obtain calcium through the electrolysis of a fused salt with calcium chloride. It is extensively used for medicinal purposes and insecticide. It finds its application in manufacturing cement, paper, and high-grade steel. Lime is used as reagent in laboratories for dehydration, precipitation, and reaction. It is the cheapest alkali available, which is an important ingredient in manufacturing a caustic of clay. Calcium is rarely found in elemental form, but is readily found throughout the earth, mostly in the form of rocks and minerals such as limestone. It is the fifth most common element in the earth's crust. Calcium is also found in ocean water and is about 8th most abundant element found in ocean. Calcium forms several compounds in nature, and many of these have wide variety of uses. Some of calcium compounds include hydroxylapatite, formed from calcium and phosphate. Calcium carbonate is used to make cement, mortar, and also glass industry. Calcium hydroxide is used in the detection of carbon dioxide as it turns cloudy in the presence of CO2 and many more.
Did you know that copper is a chemical element with a symbol Cu and its atomic number is 29? Acquainted to its soft, malleable, and ductile metal with a very high thermal and electrical conductivity. A freshly exposed surface of pure copper has a pinkish-orange color. Moreover, let's talk about its history. Copper was first used by humans over 10,000 years ago. A copper pendant discovered in what is now northern Iraq has been dated about 8,700 BC. And now its uses, most copper is used in electrical equipment such as wiring and motors. This is because it conducts both heat and electricity very well and can be drawn into wires. It also has uses in construction, for example, roofing and plumbing, and industrial machinery such as heat exchangers. Fun fact, did you know that the top 3 producer of copper is China, Peru, and Chile? Moving on, let's talk about its industry and other fields. Copper is a base metal like nickel, zinc, aluminum, lead, among others. Over the past decade, the total global copper reserve has increased from 630 million metric tons in 2010 to 870 million metric tons as of 2020. And now its source. Do you know that copper is found in highest amount in protein foods like organ meat, shellfish, fish, nuts, seeds, as well as whole grain and chocolate? And now let's talk about its compound record. The copper forms compound in the oxidation states +1 and +2 in its normal chemistry, although under special circumstances, some compounds of trivalent copper can be prepared. Let's talk the last part, and that is melting point. If you want to melt the copper, you need a 1085 degrees Celsius to melt. And the things you need is induction furnace, because the copper has a high melting temperature of 1803 degrees Celsius. Fun fact of copper, did you know that the Statue of Liberty is made from 179,000 pounds of copper?
Did you know uranium has the highest atomic weight of all natural occurring elements? And speaking of uranium, I'll discuss further about uranium. Uranium is assigned the chemical symbol U. A uranium atom has 92 protons and 92 electrons, of which 6 are valence electrons. Physical description of uranium. Uranium is a hard, dense, malleable, ductile, silver-white radioactive metal. Uranium metal has a very high density. When finally divided, it can react with cold water. In air, it is coated by uranium oxide, tarnishing rapidly. It is attacked by steam and acids. Uranium can form solid solutions and intermetallic compounds with many forms of metals. The boiling point of uranium. Uranium has 1132 degrees Celsius of boiling point. Sources of uranium. Uranium occurs naturally in low concentration in soil, rock, and water, and is commercially extracted from uranium-bearing minerals such as uraninite. Uranium ore can be mined from open pits or underground excavations. The ore can be then crushed and treated in mill to separate the valuable uranium from the ore. Uses of uranium in industry and other fields. Uranium is now used to power commercial nuclear reactor that produce electricity and to produce isotopes used for medical, industrial, and defense purposes around the world. Uranium is mainly used as fuel in nuclear power reactors for electricity generation. History of uranium. Uranium was discovered in 1789 by Martin Klaproth, a German chemist who isolated an oxide of uranium while analyzing pitch blende samples from the Joachimsthal silver mines in the former kingdom of Bohemia, located in present-day Czechia. He named his discovery Uran after the planet Uranus. Compounds related to uranium. Uranium can take many chemical forms. In nature, uranium is generally found as an oxide, such as an olive green colored mineral pitch blende. Uranium oxide is also the chemical form most often used for nuclear fuel. Uranium fluorine compounds are also common in uranium processes, with uranium hexafluoride and uranium tetrafluoride being the two most common.